Hey everyone, I'm Dan from JazzComposersPresent.com, an online space where composers, musicians, and listeners come together to celebrate the music we love. I'm joined today by Rufus Reid, legendary bass player, band leader, Grammy-nominated composer, and co-founder of the Jazz Studies and Performance program at William Patterson University. Rufus is here to talk to us about transitioning a piece from large to small ensemble.
Hello, Dan. Thanks for inviting me. I'm quite honored to be here. I wanted to speak a little bit about how I got into this thing, and of course I'm a player, as most of you probably know, and I played in a lot of small groups, and generally speaking, the small groups, will take a song or whatever and play it and improvise on it, and et cetera, et cetera. And so there's not a lot of manipulation of the arrangement necessarily. And so this topic is basically, since I began to get involved with the BMI Composers Workshop several years ago, I wanted to write pieces that were longer than songs, and I didn't know how to do that. And so hence I began to really work on this. And so the pieces began to kind of evolve. If you recall, Bob Brookmeyer, for instance, likes little thinks about cells, 2-note, 3-note, and then the BMI workshop people wanted to see your creation grow, as opposed to coming in with a already full-blown arrangement. And so that was actually a huge task for me. But I began to work at it, and this piece that you're going to hear now, was actually my very first commission with the BMI Composers Workshop, and I was completely blown away. It took me, good 6 to 8 months to come up with this one. So when I got the commission, I liked the way it went. And there's a lot of little different things within it. But I was still playing with my quintet. And I said, wow, maybe I can use some of this material to give the small group a little more information, a little more activity. It'll actually unify us even that much more, because we had to really play the parts well. So I want you to listen to this rendition of a piece called Whims of the Bluebird. And this is a rendition of a radio broadcast with the WDR band. And then later on, we'll listen to the small group version. we're just getting started. It's probably another 8 minutes goes on after this. But how would I actually use some of the material in a small group? So, I had to think about the voicings, and the quintet I had was actually Montez Coleman on drums, and Rich Perry, tenor saxophone, and Freddie Hendrix. And it was amazing to see if we can get this melody, this attitude of the big band in the small group. And John Stetch is the pianist, and who really played very well, and it was really special. But what I did, the opening thing was those clusters. That's not as successful in a small group situation if you start kind of that way. But we started right where the rhythm section began to really come together. And then, of course, we didn't play it as long as with the underlining contrapuntal lines that I had going before we actually played the melody. So that got extracted. And then now we only have the tenor and the trumpet, which was basically unison, and they did split up, and then of course the bass. And it also helps the way it's recorded so that you can actually hear everything. But this was very successful for us in the small group because it gave us, and we still had plenty of room to improvise, which is really what everyone wants to do. But we had, before we actually got into that, this information was so special that I think it really surprised people. And I think we as composers and players, we need to be able to bring and program something that's not as predictable to our audiences. So hence, listen to what I do with the small group. Rich Perry, Freddie Hendrix, Montez Coleman, and John Stetch, and myself. And the album is called The Gait Keeper, G-A-I-T, Keeper, on Sunnyside Records. And I was really pleased with the way the quintet, we worked on it so that we could actually play it and made it feel like, we weren't playing a lot of notes, and it was just a lot of notes, and trying to capture that same attitude that the big band had. And of course, the voicings, and of course the unison on that really notey figure. I had the piano actually playing along with them, and the drums and I were keeping the ostinato. And one of the things with the intro, the drums could actually come across. So there's a lot of things that happen that the small group But if you give them things to do, then they can create within that. And so to me, that was something that I was really happy that I discovered. And it gave us a lot more information, you know. So these are kind of things that I think about a lot. And I think you can actually do more with your music if once you get something that you really like, expand it, thin it out, see what it's made of. This is one of the things I learned from the BMI workshop. I had this thing that was so perfect. I thought it was great. And then Jim McNeely told me, he says, well, why don't you voice it for this, 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 and this? It completely destroyed my whole thing. But it got me thinking about how to expand.
Thanks for watching today's mini lesson. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Drop any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos in the comment section down below. To watch our full-length events and participate in live Q&As with our presenting artists, head over to jazzcomposerspresent.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.